For years, the NBA All-Star Game has been a slightly irrelevant footnote at the end of an entertaining weekend, where zero defense was allowed and barely a passing interest by the players yielded awe-inspiring plays on occasion, but leaving the fans feeling empty. Well, not anymore, folks. Who knew, with a couple of rules tweaks, this game would provide us with the kind of intensity and execution we'd been longing for all this time? As a result, we got an All-Star Game for the ages, with the best of the best showing off their athletic ability and competitive spirit that finally gave us what we were all waiting for: defense. While we got our share of crazy highlights and incredibly breathtaking displays of athletic ability and skill, I'm just here to talk about the defense, since it was a revelation. Basic passes that normally are allowed to go through were being snatched, as Simmons grabs the bounce pass and is down the court before Lowry could do anything about it. In a nice touch of irony, Simmons finds himself guarding Sixers teammate Joel Embiid, and no love lost as he cold spirits away this duck-in pass and leads the breakdown to the other end. But let's get to the fourth quarter, where in honor of Kobe, they added up the scores and then added 24 to the highest number. That is the target a team must get to in order to win. Genius idea, really, but it also meant Team LeBron had a huge mountain to climb since Team Giannis was 9 points closer to that goal. And the Greek Freak wasn't fooling around. We've heard rumbles about LeBron's poor footwork in the post, but he usually just overpowers guys, so it doesn't matter. But watch what happens when a fellow All-Star and MVP picks him up down low. Desperate to get any kind of separation, he tries to bump him away, but that doesn't cut it, and let the defensive intensity continue. The pressure continued to mount on the ball from the Reds, and Embiid's rotation over is right on point, and while Giannis should have slid down a bit farther, it doesn't matter even if it's Anthony frickin' Davis. The dunk is just erased. But he gets 1 foot down and the back foot off the ground before picking it up and then finishing it off. How about Kawhi getting into the act, sliding his feet perfectly, not giving any ground, and it's Giannis' turn to get a little exposed with his lack of variety in his drive game. Surrounded by such great athletes and defenders, he looks foolish getting caught in the air, then landing before passing. Somehow they call this a jump ball, but when the Blues win it, it's recorded as a turnover. Now, check Lowry taking a perfect charge on LeBron in the open court. The referees must have been so stunned they couldn't get any air out of their whistles, and it allows LeBron's team to draw within 3 points. Now, it was time for payback for that block down low, and while LeBron got beat across the top to that left block, he cleanly strips the ball off Giannis' leg to get the ball back. Anthony Davis again gets stuck behind the action in transition while going for the offensive rebound, and watch the defensive effort to cover for him. First, CP3 sprints across court to get Siakam. Kawhi instantly sees he has to pick up Embiid in the weak side. LeBron rotates to get a closer look. Kawhi watches his man for a second, but just grabs the pass out of the air. However, what would normally be a surefire 2 points in any other All-Star game ever turns into a turnover when Lowry steps in again to take another perfect charge in front of the basket. We should thank Lowry for setting the tone here, because the intensity continued to ratchet up from this point on. The team defense from Nick Nurse's team was really impressive, so it forced Team LeBron into running actual sets, like this pistol action across the top as they hand off to Kawhi before setting him a step-up screen. Embiid sinks too low, and Kawhi hits the easy jumper. With so much IQ on the court, it was a real pleasure to watch defensive rotations be so on point. When CP3 switches onto Giannis off the pick and roll, Kawhi just scrams him out of there with nary a word spoken between them. Then we got 2011 LeBron guarding the point guard and completely eliminating the possibility of a good shot. As they got closer to the target score, they went to the big guns, Embiid down low, and he made LeBron look foolish with a move I love. He splits the feet on the pickup, either one is allowed to be the pivot, so with a little dream shake, he gets the wide open turn over the right shoulder fadeaway from 8 feet. Of course, the feet were a little sloppy as he doesn't land with both feet down at the same time, then drags the right foot, but he hit the shot, so give it to him. To further stress how important defense was, Nick Nurse is up and coaching them from the sideline. Siakam slides his feet to stop Kawhi cold in his tracks. They then cover up the pick and roll to the right side, and then LeBron tries a Harden step back with a shot fake. Giannis gets down in a vertical stance, so they don't give it to LeBron. But they also might not have given it to him because he completely traveled on this. He gathers with the right foot down, and he'd be allowed a left-right into the jump. Instead, he takes another step with the left, so that would have been a turnover anyway. When All-Stars are seething mad at the refs, you know they're into this game. And they even called for a review as the coaching staffs were pulling out all the stops. Before the foul, there was a jump ball component to this play, so the refs get to the free throw line circle. This time, they defend that pistol action across the top much better because Embiid steps up to prevent the shot from Kawhi. Giannis flies out on the closeout to help force the miss. Lowry's out there boxing out AD, and Embiid gets it. But again, this isn't a regular All-Star game. I've never seen such a clean and quick swipe like this. These guys are in it to win it. Then throw in the incredible effort by LeBron to save this ball from going into the backcourt. Wow. Needing only a three-point shot to win the game, you just know Team LeBron would love to end it that way. So we get treated to some awesome defense. First, the switch of the pick and roll, Siakam pressuring 45 feet up on Harden. Harden struggles to get by him, Embiid is there, and now we're getting the best players closing out perfectly to take away the three. Kawhi tries to be the hero, but Lowry defends him too well. However, this turnover by Kemba was so crucial, it just about predicted their loss. Can you hear me shaking my head? But the defensive fireworks were far from over. The defense was more willing to give up a 2 than game-winning 3, so LeBron takes advantage, but just look at his expression the whole way through the lane. You can see the absolute terror on his face, knowing Giannis, of all people, is barreling down on him. And even though he rushed to get the ball off the backboard, you can see that the block happens at the exact same time as the shot hitting the board. Pinning it like this is perfectly legal and perfectly mind-boggling that Giannis was able to do this. After the jump ball, LeBron gets another shot at the win, and hey, I'm all for heroics, but this one wasn't it. Harden knows he's got a big target on his back and his front, but Giannis is providing poor spacing for Kemba, nowhere to go, and then watch Harden step up to help CP3 on the Lowry drive. He shows him his chest, holds his ground on the bump, then contests the fadeaway into a miss. But wait, we've got even more defense. Lowry again steps up to Harden on the left wing. Harden gets the chicken wing out a little bit, lowers the shoulder, and he draws another charge. Shout out to Spike for the old school offensive charge signal. And here's a look we almost never ever see in an All-Star game. Now it's possible Lowry felt bad for taking these charges since he comes across and commits an offensive foul on his own with the illegal screen. Based on his reaction, it just feels to me like he did it on purpose to balance things out. Needing one possession to win this thing, and the other team needing 2, I'd say you want to go for the 3 here. LeBron swipes Kemba out of the way, and no one would dare help off to give up the open 3, and now the Blues are right on the doorstep. Again, going down to Siakam in the post is a curious move. I know it's Harden defending, but he's a good defender down there, and you've got Giannis, Embiid, and Kemba on the floor. Siakam actually travels, then gets it blocked, and now it's last outs. Giannis won't let LeBron get anything going in the slightest, and forces the kick out to CP3, who catches Giannis a step low on the ball screen, but his length allows him to make up for it with the extreme contest. Finally, the Reds go to the matchup of Embiid against LeBron. And although this wasn't pretty in the slightest, eventually he somehow coaxes the foul out of the ref. Now it's next bucket wins, and the wires get crossed between Lowry and Embiid. Embiid doesn't call the switch, Lowry switches anyway, and they give up the game-winning Wait, what? Harden doesn't take the shot, and it allows the defense to get back in position with the shot clock winding down. However, because of that blown switch by Lowry earlier, he's forced to guard Anthony Davis. A simple duck in, Lowry has no choice but to foul, since otherwise the game would be over with a dunk on his head. And while we got a tiny bit of suspense when AD blows the first one, he hits the second, Team LeBron comes all the way back for the win, with the new rules giving us a defensive-minded and intense fourth quarter with an incredible finish. While I am wondering what took so long to change the format, I'm also eagerly anticipating next year's All-Star break for the first time ever. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to B-Ball Breakdown so you can get alerted right away when we drop a new video. This season will be filled with incredible content, so don't miss it. You in?